Welcome, art lovers. We offer for your approval a still life, if you will, of noise.
There was a series of YouTube news that was not at all related to one another, but I thought it might be interesting to observe a trend in the last 2 weeks of people either getting strikes, takedowns, demonetizations, or canceled on YouTube, on the platform. I have 3 YouTubers. Linus Tech Tips. He made a video called De-Google Your Life, and it's like how to access YouTube videos and other Google resources without using Google directly. They took it down. They actually, took the whole video down, blocked it.
Gave him like a one of those strikes where if they like keep doing it, they'll give you a real strike or something.
Yeah, like a preliminary strike or something. We're watching you. I don't think I've ever gotten a real ass strike before.
I don't think so.
People ask sometimes, they're like you cutting clips on your channel, like how do you do that? Keep it like in the 5-second range. Avoid using audio from the thing. Upload it unlisted and see if they get pissed off or not. And if they do, then re-edit it some.
Yeah, it's usually because of music, and it's usually like sound. I think the only thing that was like specific to video was probably the WWF stuff that we were using.
Yeah, if you use like a few seconds of WWF, you're done. That happened like a week after I uploaded the wrestling episode of Boxmac, and they hit me for the Mankind Undertaker clips. They do have at least an online editor now where you can cut out those segments. The edit will be unsophisticated for sure. So
yeah, you add jump cuts then, or
people are like, how come this is like this? Okay, so he gets taken down for that. Russ from Retro Game Core, who carries us through the desert when we least expect it. He had a video taken down where I don't remember what the device was.
The Switch cart thing where you can like capture your own Switch carts into one device, like almost like an EverDrive, and then you put it in your Switch, so you can have like your whole library of Switch games on one cart, basically, as backups. Oh, and most people would use that with, pirated Switch things. But he was trying to demonstrate it in such a way that it's like, oh no, it's actually backups of your own games. But Nintendo didn't care. When he showed like the title screen, I think it was the Super Mario 3D World, they just struck the video. They didn't want him promoting that device.
So far we have 2, I think, where it's like,
you didn't see that coming?
He's saying fuck YouTube.
Don't use these. Don't go. How to get around YouTube? How to get around Google? And Russ is basically using a device that helps you pirate, even if he's framing it as you're not. Nintendo knows what's up with that device.
All you need to do is like flash Mario's ass for 1 second. They're gonna be like, oh no, you don't.
They copyrighted it for the title screen.
Tax evasion. They got him a Mario tax evasion. And then the third one was much more dramatic. The Star Wars theory guy. We brought him up a number of times. Remember, he slobbed out. He had an editor, and the editor wanted to credit and ended up getting really vocal against him. If you don't like big Star Wars bro with the big muscles and stuff who hates Acolyte, like, more power to you. Is there like enough here to hate? I just keep encountering YouTube videos and just so much sentiment that hates him.
To me, he just seems like a strange big bro who writes fan fiction, who like loves like Dave Filoni Star Wars and sells knockoffs lightsabers. I don't know. He just seems like a guy who likes Star Wars.
He's become a mascot for people who hate Disney Star Wars unfairly. Now, the first thing I would say is, I don't know that there's such a thing as hating Disney Star Wars unfairly. That fucking shit sucks. It sucks real bad.
Yeah, because the only things he like really, really hates is the stuff that's like abysmal. Like he will still be... He'll be kind of in for like some of Ahsoka.
He loved Ahsoka. He's all about the Filoni cartoons.
It's just when it's like the Acolyte, which should be mocked and ridiculed.
He'll have interviews where he'll make the fatal error of saying something like, Star Wars used to be like a boy franchise. And I'm like, oh, fucking kill it. Throw him in a volcano. We all know Mike Zero, right? Hello, it's Mike Zero. I'm here to talk about Kathleen Kennedy. That weird guy who just, he's like, we laugh a lot about like AI just generating clickbait. This is a human being. He was like created by the Force to generate clickbait. He's a virgin.
There was no mother. There was no father.
There's just Mike Zero. My last name is Zero because I have 0 parents. And he's got those thumbnails where the text in the thumbnail is like a book. EJ, have you ever seen these?
Yes.
It's like you got to read left to right for about like 11 lines. I don't think this is a thumbnail, Mike Zorrell.
This is your manifesto.
You go to his, oh my God, it's always yellow text. So you go to his actual channel and you'll see a grid of his videos, and then you'll really fucking go blind with the amount of yellow text coming at you.
Turn it off.
About Kathleen Kennedy.
Turn it off.
But I remember when Rise of Skywalker was coming out, I did watch a video of his, and he like 2 months in advance described the entire ending of that movie, and it was 100% accurate. I remember this other dude, Stupendous Wave.
Today, I have some super exciting news to share with everybody.
It's just like imagery from books and comics, and it's him just kind of blabbing with like an up inflection about Star Wars, kind of like stream of consciousness about like, and that's the reason Chewbacca wasn't able to see Han Solo on Love Day or whatever the fuck. A couple years after them came along Star Wars Theory, and he was a bit more human, a bit more sociable, a bit less cringe.
He's got like he's very naturalistic. He's got like a lovable lug kind of persona.
Says you and me. His opponents do not like him. I don't think they like the muscles or any of that stuff. The crying at Luke Skywalker. He's working out on the beach and stuff to the sounds of lightsabers. He's got some kind of lightsaber company. He sells you a lightsaber. In effect, made the same kind of videos. It's images from comic books, and he's like, the real reason that Vader wasn't able to overpower Luke in the Emperor's chamber was not just because Luke was yielding the dark side, but also because Darth Vader, for only a moment, was embracing the light side. You know, it starts getting into like power levels, and
We see this not in a battle, but when Luke stopped a food fight in the Jedi mess hall by freezing every person and thing in the room.
all this shit that like is unquantifiable, but that's the fun of it, I guess. So that's really how he got his millions of subs, was just by blabbing about Star Wars, right? And then I didn't realize this, but there were like a number of other kind of like more establishment fan channels. And by establishment, I mean they're in with Lucasfilm. There's one called Star Wars Explained. This is like a dude and his wife. You know, she's got a lot of tattoos, so there's kind of like a hipness to it. There's an access journalism component to this where they're invited to Star Wars Celebration, and they're given the video games early, and they're given a lot of exclusive looks, and the Star Wars Twitter account follows them, apparently. There was a bit of a Star War. Star Wars Explained wrote with like a bunch of other creators, this very lame letter to YouTube saying, like, we will not stand by and see Reva and whatever the hell her name is from Last Jedi. We won't stand by and watch them get abused by trolls online. And we believe that the source of these trolls are these hateful YouTube channels. And they named like the kind, you know, the more sensationalist kind of right wing, like Geeks and Gamers, Nerdrotic, and like name some of those guys. I think they called for him to be demonetized in some way online or something. So he was like, okay. And something I like about the guy is when he gets punched, he punches back. So they called for his demonetization, and he went back and screenshotted a bunch of conversations that he had with this Star Wars Explained channel. These email exchanges that were like, hey, like, if you're comfortable telling me, how did you get so successful? Because I'm really jealous over here. I mean, you seem to be doing really well. It felt like Mean Girls to me, EJ. It felt like, you know, like this very feminine, bitchy, you look really pretty. How expensive is your jewelry? It was really gross.
Yeah, they're just things that made it sound like he's very bitter and resentful.
Yeah.
But also like trying to be, you know, pretending to be friendly.
Some other conversations came out, and the guy went to Star Wars Theory and was like, I need you to know I actually really hated you, which is just so obvious from the sound of the email. You're like, he resents him and is really bitter. And I couldn't understand why you were successful, not me, but now that I've met you, you're really nice. I really regret it. And he had like this terribly guilty conscience. And he had said too, he was like, my wife used to have to, I'd wake up in a sweat in the middle of the night. My wife would have to calm me down because I was so jealous and hung up on your success. And Theory said something I love. He was like, people want you to be successful, but not more successful than them. Like envy is a bitch. These people are very concerned with views and money. And, you know, cause like so many of their tweets are about like, you're a grifter. You're just doing that for money. You're just saying that for money. Everything's money, 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 money.
Yeah, even when he met with him, he was like, how much money do you make? And Theory was like, I don't really want to tell you.
Star Wars Theory gets accused all the time of like you only hate the Acolyte for money or something, and we've talked about this in the past, and because people we don't make any money on YouTube, and people have accused us of that. They're like, I think you actually like the Acolyte. Like, no, I swear to you, I don't.
You can tell that Star Wars Theory is doing this because this is how he processes life. Like, you know, it's like this is what he has loved all of his life, and these are his true emotions. Like I don't read any falseness in what he's saying. If anything, he's overly generous, I would say.
Oh, that's the other thing is they keep calling Star Wars Theory a right-wing grifter. And I'm like, I don't think they've watched very many videos of his. I've watched lots of videos of his, and I don't think he's mentioned one goddamn thing about politics. Not one.
No.
Not one time. He's Canadian, actually. So he's like, he's not even interested in American politics at all.
I don't get the feeling he is interested in politics, or at least won't show it in his content because he's not interested.
There's the socio-political cultural element to Star Wars, but he doesn't even really talk about that. I've never once heard him be like, I watched Acolyte and it was such a fucking left-wing thing. Like, I've never even heard him say anything like that or talk about like diversity or like, not really.
No, he's more like the choreography in this is.
He's like, I really like the sword guy from the prequels, and he and I spoke, and he's very upset. And again, like all of his success came from making dorky videos about Star Wars, like really fucking dorky.
He writes fan fiction, which is like the dorkiest thing you can do in any fandom.
You often hear this thing of like negative opinions sell better than positive opinions, and there's truth to that for sure. But I would also say that like the nature of having a million creators and therefore a million audiences means it really kind of depends on what the creator is putting out there. So like, I don't think that, for instance, a Red Cow Arcade video necessarily performs higher when we have a negative opinion of a movie versus a positive opinion. I think instead what informs the views on any one of our videos is whether or not people are interested in the topic of that movie. Like, if they're not really interested in the topic of House of the Dragon, but they are interested in the topic of Deadpool and Wolverine. And I think in his case, like, the vast majority of his subscribers came for the dorky shit. The way he grew his channel, it actually is risky to be negative about Star Wars.
I think this all comes down to a few things. Yeah, one, I think it's bitterness and resentment of his success. And I think the success of those other channels, Geeks and Gamers, Nerderotic, and the fact that he talks to them so that he's giving them a platform.
The Geeks and Gamers one is my least favorite, like by far. That dude has nothing to say.
Was it Ryan Kinnell or?
Oh, that guy sucks too. Yeah,
Jeremy something. Yeah,
Jeremy is the Geeks and Gamers one, I think.
Jeremy Prime, yeah.
Nerderotic at least has those edits, if nothing else. He was doing Rings of Power. And it was Elrond and Galadriel were bickering, and he used clips from them from the original trilogy.
It reminds me of that deleted scene from Lord of the Rings.
You are a real hooker, and I'm going to slap you in public.
You have man boobs.
I'm going to punch you in the ovary. That's what I'm going to do. A straight shot.
Ooh, ow.
Right to the baby maker.
It was very funny. We'll cut it in.
The guild does not take your orders.
What's this got to do with Linus Tech Tips and with Retro Game Court? Well, in those cases, YouTube acted decisively. In this case, yeah, they petitioned YouTube. And keep in mind, that Lucasfilm quietly co-signed that. I think what's going on there is Lucasfilm is totally in contact with all those people. They would love to get Nerderotic and shit obliterated, Star Wars Theory obliterated. They want to get rid of all those guys on the platform. I think they're really sick of people making money off of their brand while hurting their brand. But of course, it would be the worst PR ever for like Star Wars is trying to remove fans from the from the platform. So I'm sure they were in bed with these self-righteous, virtuous fans. And YouTube publicly in a tweet, they were like, "We're sorry to disappoint you, but no, Nerderotic stays."
They haven't breached any terms of service. They're not breaking any of our laws or YouTube laws, and they're free to be monetized.
They didn't once show how to back up a Mario game. As far as I can tell, they're not trying to get around any ads.
Yeah, exactly. In fact, they bring us money because they keep getting views.
I feel like if it was 2017, 2018, you might would YouTube have taken down whole channels just for that behavior? I doubt it. But I feel like YouTube would have entertained it a bit more, or you would have heard a little bit more scuttlebutt around it, or I just feel like it would have been not quite as decisive as like, sorry, but no. Just as long as you're paying us, we're happy. You know, they were in a different era then. It was a little bit more ideological, I think.
Yeah, I think I don't want to say the pendulum's swinging back, but I think everybody's been a little bit more lenient this go around. You know.
It seems so.
I do wonder if even just having like Elon Musk's X around probably is like, we cannot lose anything to him. We're going to permit a little bit more stuff.
Otherwise, everybody will just go to Twitter as a video platform.
Or at least to get, any information or different information.
You'd think by now it would be more of a full-blown video app where, because if it's going to host that much video.
Yeah, even if there is just X there
video.
would be like X video. Wait.
Maybe
We don't want that one.
that'd have been bad branding.
That'd be bad branding. But you know what I mean.
Yeah. Video X. There's no way around it, actually. I think he fucked himself.
Ooh.
Anyway, that's our defense of Mr.
Mr. Muscles.
Mr. Muscles.
Good evening.
Subscribe to Red Cow Entertainment on Patreon for full episodes every other week.